Today, we are diving into one of the most powerful connections in your entire body. It's something you've probably felt, but maybe never really understood. We're talking about the incredible communication superhighway that runs between your gut and your brain. I mean, think about it. We all use these phrases, right? That nervous flutter you get before a big meeting, or that deep down intuition that just screams yes or no. What if I told you these aren't just figures of speech? They are actual, real-time biological signals. That's exactly right. Those feelings, they're the result of a super complex, two-way communication network known as the gut-brain axis. It's this constant chatter happening inside of you, 24/7, linking your thoughts and emotions directly with what's going on in your digestive system. And why does this matter? Well, the health implications are just staggering. What's so wild about this connection is the sheer range of conditions involved. It goes way beyond just digestive issues like IBS. We're talking a direct link to our mental health, things like anxiety and depression, and it even extends to metabolic problems like obesity and some really serious neurodegenerative disorders like Parkinson's. This axis is absolutely fundamental to our overall health. So, to really get this, we've got to start in the gut itself. And scientists are now calling it our second brain, and believe me, there's a very good reason for that. Let's just start with a number that's gonna blow your mind. For a long time, the thinking was that microbial cells in our body outnumbered our own human cells by about 10 to 1. Now, the current, more careful estimate is still pretty astonishing. For every single human cell you have, there are roughly 1.3 microbial cells. In a very real way, we're more them than we are us. And all these microbes make up what we call the gut microbiota. Now, this isn't just some random pile of germs. You need to think of it more like a bustling, complex ecosystem living inside you, a whole community of bacteria, viruses, and fungi that's playing a vital role in, well, pretty much everything from how you digest your food to how strong your immune system is. And this right here really shows you the power of that ecosystem. See, our own human genome, our DNA, it's pretty much fixed from birth. But the collective genome of our microbiota, what we call the microbiome, that's incredibly dynamic. It's constantly changing in response to what we eat, our stress levels, our environment. It gives us this amazing adaptable genetic potential that our own DNA just can't offer. So how does this second brain in our gut actually talk to the one in our head? Well, it turns out it's a constant two-way conversation. And this is the crucial point. It's not a one-way street. The communication flows in both directions. Your brain sends signals down to your gut, affecting things like digestion, but, and this is the really groundbreaking part, your gut and all those microbes living in it are sending signals back up to the brain. And those signals are profoundly influencing your mood, your thoughts, and even your behavior. Okay, let's look at a classic brain-to-gut example. What happens when you get stressed? So your brain perceives some kind of threat, and your hypothalamus kicks off this chain reaction. It tells the pituitary gland to release a hormone, which then signals the adrenal glands to start pumping out cortisol. Yep, the main stress hormone. And that cortisol then travels all through your body, directly impacting your gut. Now let's look at the gut-to-brain direction. And get ready for this, because this is a real shocker. We usually think of serotonin as the happy chemical that's made in our brain. But just look at this breakdown. An incredible 95% of your body's serotonin is produced in the gut. Your gut is the main factory for one of the most important neurotransmitters that regulates your mood. Just let that sink in. And this whole conversation is happening through a bunch of different channels all at once. You've got a direct neural wire called the vagus nerve. You've got the endocrine system with hormones like cortisol acting as messengers in the blood. The immune system gets involved, and maybe most importantly, you've got the metabolic pathway, where our gut microbes themselves are creating chemicals that can actually alter your brain. It's just a beautifully complex system. But like any complex system, this communication can get disrupted. And when that happens, there can be some pretty serious consequences for our health. And this all starts right at the beginning of our lives. There's this critical window, especially in the first year or so, where our microbiome is just getting set up. Things like how you were born, vaginally versus C-section, your early diet, and especially any antibiotic use can have a massive long-term impact on the final makeup of this internal ecosystem. And so many parts of modern life can throw this whole system out of whack. Chronic stress, for instance, can lead to what's called a leaky gut, where inflammatory stuff gets into our bloodstream. Overusing antibiotics can just wipe out tons of good microbes, gutting that crucial diversity. And of course, a poor diet full of processed foods can fuel the kind of low-grade inflammation that's at the root of so many chronic diseases. Okay, so that's the problem, but here's the really exciting news. Because our microbiome is so dynamic, we actually have the power to change it. So the big question is, how can we support and maybe even reboot this vital connection? Well, the most powerful tool we have is our diet. And it's not about some single magic food. It's about creating a nurturing environment. The key is variety, especially from all kinds of plant-based foods that are packed with prebiotics. That's the fiber that actually feeds your good bacteria. And then you can add more good bacteria with probiotics from fermented foods like yogurt or kimchi. The goal is a diverse, happy, anti-inflammatory ecosystem where your microbiome can really thrive. And remember, since it's a two-way street, taking care of your brain directly helps your gut. When we actively manage our stress, whether that's through mindfulness, therapy, or just simple relaxation techniques, we can calm down that whole HPA axis we saw earlier. This dials back the flood of stress hormones, which has a direct positive effect on our gut health and the signals it sends back up to the brain. All of this brings us to the real cutting edge of the science, psychobiotics. That's the actual term for specific strains of live bacteria that have been shown to have a positive effect on mental health. We are talking about targeted bacterial therapies designed specifically to support the brain. It's a totally revolutionary idea that is changing how we think about treating psychiatric conditions. So let's end on this thought. As we learn more and more about this incredible world inside of us, it's becoming clear that we're moving past a one-size-fits-all approach to health. The future could very well involve personalized therapies, where a doctor prescribes specific psychobiotics based on your unique microbial signature. It's a future where nurturing your gut isn't just an afterthought. It's a primary strategy for nurturing your mind.